Introducing the Institution of Surveyors of Kenya live stream and live chat. Do you have a question from any of the following areas? Land survey, valuation, building survey, land administration, engineering survey, estate agency, property management, and geospatial information management. Join the Institution of Surveyors of Kenya live stream and live chat every Friday from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m.
Hi everyone, my name is Pius Mushire Mugo. I'm the Managing Director of Nabo Capital. And what we do here at Nabo Capital is very simple. We just take 1 shilling and make it 1 shilling and 20 cents. We create wealth, multi-generational wealth. And that's why I'm very pleased today. I've been invited by Institution of Surveyors of Kenya, ISK, to come and speak to you on this subject of financial management. I must admit, when I was given this subject at the beginning, it's such a wide topic, and I will try to simplify it. And I want us to wear 2 hats. One is individual, you as an individual, and the other one is your business. I will focus more on you as the individual, and then we can reflect on the business. And I also want to say that this is not just a one-way teaching. I'm also looking forward to hearing from you. So please put your comments and feedback, whatever suggestions, on that comment section. If you're on Facebook Live, you know exactly where to do that. And if you're on any other platform, please engage us using the chat function or any other comment section that may be available to you. So I'll dive right into it. As I said, we are here to talk about financial management. And I want to start by talking about myself. About 10 years ago, I met a gentleman. We used to go to the same church with him. Of course, I was an investment professional, and this young man, chases me, and he's like, Pius, I need to see you. And I asked him, what do you want to see me about? And he tells me, I want to talk to you about financial management. And I said, wow, I'm a CFA charter holder, I have a degree in finance. What more can I learn? But I was those were just thoughts in my mind, and I said, you know what, let me hear what this young man has to do. And he said, but I don't want to see you alone, I want to see you and your wife. And I was like, wow, this is becoming a little bit more serious. So we met at my house, and the first thing that he did was to really give us an assignment. Wow, I paid 2,000 bob for that consultancy, but the guy still gave me an assignment, and the assignment was to put together our family balance sheet. So me and my wife, we had a nice chat with him. We were very glad. We never felt like we lost our money. We were actually very glad. But that really set the ball rolling for us as a family on financial management, back to the individual. So I started putting together the family balance sheet. And I was, I had an Excel workbook, and I would put the assets. I have this plot here, I have this shamba here, I have these shares here, and also any borrowings, credit card. I used to go to sleep, and I remember some assets I had forgotten. That's how crazy it was. It became something very intriguing for me, because it showed me that there are many assets that we had as a family that we were not tracking. But at the end of it, we had a family balance sheet, and we were able to take our assets, subtract from it our liabilities, all the borrowings that we had, and we came up with this number, net worth. And it made me reflect, because that was like the most important thing I had ever done in my life, to put together our family balance sheet and to know that we are worth this much. If my family was liquidated on that day, I knew exactly how much we would be worth. And I started popping this question to my friends. Do you know how much you're worth? Even in this industry of investment. And I was very surprised that actually very many people, They wake up very early in the morning. They endure the traffic, the sun, and they go to work and they come back home. And when you ask them, how much are you worth? They don't know. And I realize that's a classic mistake many of us we make. But if you ask anyone, and maybe the people who are listening to me, if I ask you, what is the balance sheet size of your company? Most likely you'll pop it out of your head like this. But if I ask you, what is your net worth as an individual, as a family? Most of the time you'll scratch your heads. And you cannot be able to do proper financial management if you do not know your worth, your net worth. So the first thing that I want to say, you must know your net worth. So what is net worth? Net worth is all your assets and you minus liabilities, anything that you owe anyone. And when I say assets, it gets so crazy, even the M-Pesa balance that you have, you've got to put it where? Amongst your asset. Even the Fuliza that you have borrowed, you've got to put it where? Amongst your liabilities. Anything that you have, it must be counted in your net worth. Okay? So, net worth is equals all your assets put together and subtract all your liabilities. So, that is a starting point because it tells you where you are as a family. I've done this with a couple of people. Some of my friends actually have come back with a feedback like, Piers, I actually have a negative net worth. You know? And that surprises very many of them. So, very important exercise for you to do. Number two, when we put together our net worth, something else began to bother me. I started looking at what are those assets doing for my family? What are those assets? What are they generating for me? How much cash are they generating for me? And I categorized myself, my family, in this statement. We were asset rich, but cash poor. Asset rich, cash poor. That is something that many of us have. Why are most of us asset rich and cash poor? Is because we have invested most of our money in land that is not producing anything. You've bought shares, you forgot them. You have bought things that you're not really nurturing them to produce any cash towards your family. So I happened to fall in that bracket where we are asset rich but cash poor. And again, I want to go back. We are doing individual, but also we are reflecting on the business. So most businesses actually don't have a problem with the net worth, but this could be something very interesting. At Nabo Capital, 2-3 years ago, we started focusing on this thing called cash. How much is every asset producing for us? And we've seen tremendous improvement. In fact, if it was not for that, it would have been a very difficult year last year. During COVID, because we focused on cash and we were able to put together a cash buffer that could take care of our expenses for at least 1 year. And that is what makes a business survive. So as a family, how much are your assets generating for you? As a business, how much are your assets generating for you? You start ticking out your dead assets. You start seeing which assets, majority of the people you'll find, only 20% of your assets are actually generating any cash. The rest are just dead assets. So here, the key is to identify your dead assets. Okay? Identify your dead assets. So that's the second thing. What is the cash? How much cash are your assets generating? How much is your net worth able to generate? If you go to borrow, that's the other thing that I discovered. What determines how much you can borrow? Majority of the people, they look at their salaries or they look at their business income. But you cannot borrow based on income. Borrowing should be based on balance sheet. This is what determines if your net worth is, let's say, 10 million, you cannot borrow more than 10 million. You get? That is a suicide move. In fact, you should not borrow 10 million. You should say, maybe I want to borrow a maximum of 60% of my net worth. So these banks that are coming to us and telling us, we have seen your income streams, how your cash flow is hitting your bank account, and they give you big loans. Sometimes they mislead us, and you end up over borrowing, and therefore you end up with a negative net worth. Okay? So if something happens when you have overborrowed, there's only one way. It's a bankruptcy. So this cash, this net worth, and these two will tell you your borrowing capacity. How much can you borrow? These two will tell you. So those are two things we did. The third thing, this was more of a revelation to us. We asked ourselves, what is the biggest risk we sit on as a family? And it was very clear that my wife was dependent on a salary, and I was dependent on a salary. So if something happened, like for example, the way COVID happened last year, and both of you lose your jobs, you actually can go to the streets very easily. And immediately, we said that is the thing that we want to focus on. So, biggest risk for us was over-reliance on salary. If it is your business, it could be an over-reliance on a particular customer. If that customer goes, you're done. If it is your business, it could be over-reliance on a particular income stream. Safaricom used to make most of its money from voice. But today, that's not where their money comes from. So there must be something that you sit down as a business and you realize, if this piece changed, all our lives would change. So what is the biggest risk that you face as a family and as a business? Very important question. So we said, okay, myself, my family, we were relying on a salary, on salaries. So we made a very radical decision as a family. We were going to rely to use only one salary as an entire family, and the other one would assume we don't have it. And the income that we're going to rely on was a lower one. So we had to reconfigure our expenses, everything, and rearrange ourselves and assume if one salary is taken away, we should be able to survive with a smaller salary amongst us. So even in your business, you need to assume if this client moves away, your largest client moves away, can your business be able to survive with the other clients? That is something that we are constantly monitoring at Nabo Capital. We always look at this thing we call client concentration. Risk. So it doesn't have to be like mine. I'm sure every business has the biggest risk, the thing that keeps someone awake at night. If it changes, everything changes. So I will leave that to you to reflect, and then you can feel this for yourself. So this side is more of a reflection, if I may say so. This side is, we are basically reflecting. Now, this side is where we need to do some actions. We need to do some actions. What is the first thing that you do? Once you realize what your biggest risk is, we set a financial goal. Myself, or rather my family, we set a financial goal. And that financial goal was to assume that we can only live on one income in the family, and we started adjusting ourselves according to that particular income. So the goal here was to win gradually win yourself from salary or client or business income. That's very important. And that is a goal. You set that goal as a business or as a family. Okay? So the first action that you must do, and this one no one can do for you, is to set the financial goal. Set your financial goal. Set a financial goal. A very big, something that will change your family. Okay? Or something that will change your business. The second thing that you need to do, you have to come up with a strategy. And in our language, we call it investment plan. How will you move from where you are today to where you desire to be? How will you move? How will you move from A to B? And this is A is today. B could be 5 years from now. How will you move from the A to B? And this is something that you have to do with an expert. And we at Nabo Capital, this is one of the things that we normally help our investors to do. We understand your aspirations. We know your situation. We know you help us with what are your resources looking like? What is your biggest concern? What is your aspiration? And then we put together a financial plan or an investment plan for you that will tell you how you move with certainty from where you are today to where you want to be. For example, one of our biggest concerns as a family was education. My kids joined a particular school, and that school, when you were given the fee structure, I looked at the projection for 14 years, and we were going to spend 14 million shillings on every child. And that scared me because I have 4 of them. So we can do 14 million times 4. It's a lot of money. So that became a goal. How can we set this education goal? As a family, we want to be able to be assured that we can be able to pay for our children's school fees regardless of what's happening in our businesses, regardless of what is happening in our places of employment for 14 years. And that becomes a goal. So then I asked the team, the investment team, what sort of investment plan do I need to embark on for me to be able to be assured that the education for my kids will be guaranteed? There's nothing guaranteed in this world, almost guaranteed for the next 14 years. And they came up with very interesting statistics. He said, if we invested 8 million shillings per child, 8 million bob, they can pay school fees. It can pay school fees for 14 years. Until grade 12. And then, on the 14th year, these 8 million, what will be remaining in the account will be 7.1 million shillings. Meaning, I'll have only spent from my own capital 900,000 shillings. and my kids would have gone to school for 14 years. Now, imagine the alternative of spending 14 million per child. You become poor. That's why many people, by the time their kids are finishing school, they are poor. But using these vehicles, investment plans, you can actually be able to overturn the tables, and you protect your capital, and it's only the fruit of the capital that is taking care of that particular need. And then at the end of the day, you're still left with most of your capital. That is what we call an investment plan. And this can be structured for anything. If you want to buy a car, you want to buy a house, if that is the biggest need that you have, we can put it together as an investment plan. And that was an eye-opener for me, because I realized this is what makes the difference between wealthy people and the people who are poor. Because wealth, and by the way, being wealthy and being poor does not depend on how much you have. It's more of a mindset. The wealthy people, they never, once they have their capital, they never want to lose their capital. They never want to use their capital. They only want to use the seed of the fruit of the capital. Majority of us, if you go and get 10 million shillings today, you even can go and pay school fees for the next 14 years. But you've just lost an opportunity. You get? So you cannot protect your capital, protect everything that you make on a day-to-day basis, on a month-to-month basis, protect it. And this investment plan is so critical in helping you to be able to achieve that particular goal. So this is just an example. So the other goal that we set for ourselves was, of course, to win ourselves from depending on salary. And I think about 5 years ago, my wife, when she was expecting our third born, she just said, you know what, I think the biggest impact she can have is in raising the family. And she retired early. But that would not have been possible if we had not set what? That financial goal, and we were already executing an investment plan to win ourselves off depending on that particular income. So even your business, what is the financial goal? What is the biggest pain point for your business? How does that feed into your financial goal? What is the most important? Last year, but one, the biggest financial goal for Nabo Capital was to increase our levels of income to a particular level so that it could take care of every expense and remain with something. You see, so we focused on that for 12 months, and we were constantly executing, we were constantly discussing it week by week. Okay? Your financial goal could be growth. So that could be what you put there as your financial goal. And then you have an investment plan around it. Now, I want to say this about businesses. You know, the most difficult people to preach to are the people who go to church. They're the people who go to church. And this is because they believe that they know God. They assume that they know God. So it is easier to preach to somebody who has never been to church. And in my career, what I've found out is that the most difficult people to invest are the people who are actually successful in business, because they always assume that the business will always be successful. But investment is always there to take care, just in case that business does not come through for you, like many of us, it happened to many of us last year. You must have a plan, an investment plan on the side of your business. Every business. You should set aside some cash. You have an income stream that completely does not depend on your core business. In our business, we call it interest income line. So we have a flow of income that can take care at least 50% of our salaries. Yeah? Even if business does not come through. Why? Because life happens. And when life happens, it does not give you warning. It just comes like that and it changes. So this is a very special call to businesses. Even if you have you're running a very successful business, please make sure there is an investment plan for your business. So we're done with number 4, done number 5. Now we go to the final one, financial discipline. Investment plan is just a plan. But that plan has certain things that it demands from you. For example, it may demand from you that you must make certain contributions. Regular contributions, maybe to your investment account. You need to make certain contributions to your investment account. That is your business, and also as an individual, you may also be demanded to make certain contributions to your investment account. You can only reap from where you have sown. So if you do not make contributions, then you're not sowing. And if you're not sowing, you will never reap. So one of the most exciting moments for me in a month is when I am making this contribution. Because I normally call it what? Pay myself first. Why pay the landlord? Pay KPLC, pay the water company, pay everybody, but don't pay yourself. If you're not paying yourself, there's only one eventuality. When that life happens, it really happens for you. You get? So you must pay yourself first. Even if you earn 100 bob in a month, you must pay yourself. You must pay yourself. That's why we took a radical move with my wife to say, we will depend on one income. We'll assume one of us has already been fired. You get? Then you depend on that one income. Then the other, what you put aside, because we're tightening the economic belt, you start paying what? Yourself. And how do you pay yourself? By putting it in an investment account. So you put this in, that requires discipline. That's why I use the word discipline, because there are many pressures and many demands on that money. Even your business. When you go close a nice tender, get some lump sum payment, please assume you didn't have some of that money. Get it out, put it in an investment account, and one day you'll be glad that you did that. So, but the key word here is regular. It's got to be regular. It cannot be sometimes. Discipline only comes when it's consistent. So contributions is one of them. Another one is you may need to put in some lump sum amount so that you start on a good note. Okay? If you have. If you don't have, that's still okay. But the key thing you must do, you must put something in that pot so that that pot one day will do what? Will work for you. I was listening to Warren Buffett, and he was saying he spends most of his time reading books. In fact, someone even summarized his life. He wakes up, he reads books, he eats, he sleeps. Why? Because since he was 11 years old, he has had this discipline of putting money in investment. And now he doesn't need to show up anywhere to meet his life expenses. Other people are busy working for them. You get? The largest shareholder in Safaricom does not need to work, does not need to show up. Largest shareholder in Equity Bank does not need to show up at work. People are working for them. That's an investment. So that investment will one day become significant, and you'll be able to wean yourself off from your biggest risk. Okay? So Those are 3 key action points. Set a financial goal, then have an investment plan. You can even put it somewhere nicely, that you'll be seeing it, and then follow that investment plan with a very thorough, ruthless discipline. Make your regular contributions. I avoid as much as possible to make withdrawals. There's one thing I like about an investment account. It doesn't have an ATM card. Doesn't have an ATM card. So when you're out there having fun with your friends and you run out of money, you can't run to the ATM card. Yeah? And tomorrow you'll wake up and say, I'm so glad I didn't have an ATM card. That's the essence of an investment account. So I think we've addressed both individuals and businesses. And I would just want to conclude this way. If once you do this and you find you actually, any of these things are missing, you need to start now. Do you know your net worth? If you don't know your net worth, tonight, you should not sleep before. You know what? Your net worth. Do you know how much your net worth is producing? If you don't know, also, make sure you know by tonight. These are things of tonight. This side is tonight. Reflect tonight. Risk. What is your biggest risk as a family? Sit down with your spouse. Tonight. Start now. Isolate that thing, because this is what really moves people to action. The moment we realize that if someone removes the 2 pillars of salaries from my family, that we can be on the street, we move to action. We move to action. So start now, these ones. And then here, you can come and to Nabu Capital, and we'll give you some details, some contact details, and we can help you to put together your financial goals, your investment plan, and also the kind of discipline that you can be following for the next 5 years, 10 years, 1 year, depending on what your commitment or how big your financial goal might be. And then we will meet and celebrate.
Yes, that was quite an informative session.
Thank you.
I think would be very helpful for people and also their businesses.
Thank you.
So a few questions came by, and I wanted to just pose them to you, and also you can help in addressing them. So one of them, which is a big one, and we've seen that in the industry, pyramid schemes. So how do we identify genuine products, genuine companies, and actually how do we start investing in those people? Again, the starting process, people seem to be a bit unaware of where to start. Yeah.
There are a couple of ways of addressing that question. First of all, is from a regulation point of view. When we say Ponzi, Ponzi literally is almost illegal. It's a scam. Yeah. It should not happen, isn't it? And one of the biggest mistakes that I see many people doing is they just invest without being aware of the regulations that will protect them. When we are helping foreign investors to come and invest here, the first thing that they do is to look at the regulations. And my advice to everybody is always invest alongside people who are regulated by Capital Markets Authority. If anyone is selling anything to you, any investment product to you, ask them, are you regulated by Capital Markets Authority? If they say no, then that is already a red flag. That's one. Number 2 is people. Everything that is sold to you by a person. And that person wants your money. He wants you to put money with them and to trust them with your money.
Yes.
You need to be able to ask yourself, can I actually trust this person? Forget the returns, they can double your money. Can you actually leave $1 million shilling with this person and go and sleep peacefully? If you don't feel peaceful, it's a red flag. And when we are going to invest out there, because we always invest on behalf of people, we start with people. can we trust this management team? Can we trust the owners of this business? Do they have a track record of being trusted? Get it? So there's a lot of information that is available. Even you go to the internet, you can be able to Google someone, and you can already tell, there is something. And also, someone who doesn't have a social media footprint is also a red flag to me. If you don't have an email account, if you're sending me details on Gmail and we are doing business, that is a red flag. So people, and when it comes to people, read everything, including how your body is feeling. You get it? There are enough business deals that we have liked, but we have not felt chemistry with the people who are putting forward that particular deal. And most of the time, we are always proven to be right. So, number 2 is people. Number 3 is, what are they promising you? Do they have a history or track record of doing what they're saying they'll be doing for you? You get it? If someone is going to say, I'm going to build you a house, but they've never built a house, how can you trust them with your money? If they're going to tell you that they're going to do forex trading for you, and you ask them, how much money have you traded for yourself? They have no track record. So for us, on average, we say, if someone doesn't have a track record of at least 5 years, we don't touch. You must have a history. Okay. Number 3 is future. Number 4 is future. Sometimes you come into the deal too late. You get it? Safaricom was at 23 shillings last year. Today it is at 40. I'm not saying it will not go any further, but it only means the potential is diminishing for making obscene returns. You get it? Bitcoin is at $50,000. Now, the risk of someone buying at 50,000 and someone who was buying at 4,000 is very different. So, avoid coming into the party too late.
So it's a matter of timing.
Timing is also key, because then you find, especially Ponzi schemes, they work very, very early on. People even get money, but it's when the music stops playing, that's when you realize you are swimming naked. So then, of course, is the price that you're paying for it. If the deal is too good, hey, ask yourself. When I was a young man and I was just looking to leave home and start living by myself, I pointed out I wanted to live this area of Mountain View. And I looked at the newspapers and I saw a very nice 1-bedroom that was going for a very cheap price. And I called the number, I met the person, and they told me to pay a deposit, and they presented themselves very well. The moment I give them money, something clicked in me. I have just lost my money. And true enough, I had lost my money. Price is an indicator. When the deal is too good, ask yourself, how are they able to do that? If everybody else is generating 10%, how are they going to generate 20%? I am always very careful about people who come and tell me, I'm going to double your money every month or every year. Those ones, I don't even listen to them, because experience has shown that they are not. Everything requires time and to be nurtured so that it can produce the fruits. So, and also look at the qualifications. You get there are people who are trained to do what you want to invest in. So, for example, I'll give you one of the interesting conversations I normally have. Someone comes and tells me, Pius, I gave up investing in the stock market. I ask them why. Because I was losing money all the time. You don't make money out of the stock market. I say, but you're investing for yourself. Are you an investment professional? It is a zero-sum game. Someone wins, another one loses. You get it? So if you're coming to meet buyers in the stock market,
Yes.
I will win and you will lose.
Yes.
It's like fighting Mike Tyson in a boxing ring.
Yeah.
For sure, you'll get a knockout.
Yeah.
So I tell them, use experts. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Use experts. Don't be scared of using experts. Don't be scared of using consultants. Sometimes that 10 shillings that you're trying to save is what will save you from losing
A lot of money.
millions and
Yes.
millions of shillings. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was quite informative. Huh? Regulation, the people, timing,
Yes.
price, and a track record.
Track record.
So those are the key things to put in mind as you are looking to invest. The other question that is here is with regards to saving for retirement and seeing cash reserves, emergency funds, and from your session you spoke about planning and goals. Maybe you could tell us what NABO can help people accomplish on that front.
Yeah.
Yes.
And again, I want to go back to we as a profession of investment professionals, we are like doctors. If you ever meet an investment professional who tells you, you invest in this product, you invest in this company, run.
Yes.
That is not an investment profession. We are like doctors. First of all, we listen and we diagnose. What is your biggest need? You remember what you said? What's your biggest risk?
Yes.
What is your biggest pain point? You get it? So when someone talks about retirement, they say, hey, I need to secure my retirement. Yes. So they'll come in the financial goal. That will be their financial goal, retirement. And once we start putting together the investment plan. Investment plan will be like, how much do you spend in a month? How much do you need to survive in a month as a family?
Yes.
If your business came to a standstill today, if your salary came to a stop today, how much would you need to survive as a family? You say 100,000. Then you say, okay, how much do we need to put together so that what size of portfolio do we need to put together so that it can give you 100,000 every month? Every month.
Yes.
We'll come up with those numbers. Then we say, now, because you haven't lost your job, how much do we need? How much do we have today? You say, hey, maybe we say we needed 10 million, but you have 2 million. Say, now let's put 2 million in that account. Now say, between 2 million and 10 million is a process. How much money can you be contributing to your account every month, so that by year 5 you'll be at 10 million? That's the process that we'll go through.
Yes.
And that's what you call a retirement plan. And it is, I know people have pensions and all these things, but to be honest, nobody ever asked you those questions.
True.
You get it? So I normally say, if you have a pension, that's a good thing, but that will only complement your retirement plan. Your retirement plan should be 100% under your control. And the only way to do it is to do it with a firm like NABO Capital. Now, let's talk about emergency.
Yes.
Remember, we are driven by needs as human beings. You get it? So, let's talk about somebody who does not have enough money to meet their living expenses. Can that person talk about emergency? You get? There's a hierarchy of needs.
Yes.
You get?
Yeah.
So, if you've secured your retirement, then you can afford to talk about emergency savings.
Yes.
But if you don't have retirement plan, surely you're already in an emergency.
Yeah.
The first emergency is to take care of your retirement, right? And let me clarify something about retirement. You know, we were given this notion that retirement is when you're at 55 or 65 if you're working for government. Statistics show that more than 80% of the people, they leave employment before they hit that statutory retirement age.
Wow. Okay.
So, look around our office. How many people are 50 years? Zero.
Zero, actually.
So, if you're hoping to be at 55 so that you retire, you're probably deceiving yourself.
Yeah.
You get it? So, retirement is a number that you need to come up with. My definition of retirement is when you get to do what you want to do every day of the year.
Yes. So you choose your life and your activities.
Exactly. It's Warren Buffett who said that statement. I get to do what I like to do every day, every single day of the year. So that for me is retirement. I could be retired, but actually I'm working.
Yes.
Because working also is an essential part of life. So I would want to redefine the word retirement to whoever is listening to me. And let's remove that archaic, ancient definition of retirement, because it is not happening to majority of us.
Yes.
You get it? Retirement is when you get to do what you want to do every single day of the year.
Correct.
So when is that day? That day, can it be 2 years from now? Can it be 5 years from now? Can it? You get it? Because that retirement can come sooner.
Yes.
If your employer says, we have had enough of you. There are more young people who are cheaper than you, and then now we don't need your services. Retirement has just come to you. You did not go to it. Yeah.
So you're better off being prepared and intentional about it.
You've got to be intentional about it. In fact, you prepare for retirement from your first pay. Yeah. So now, emergency.
Yeah.
Back to emergency. Emergency now is put in place to protect your retirement portfolio.
Yes.
Because if you go into an emergency and you have a retirement portfolio somewhere, let's say, for example, God forbid, someone very close to you falls sick, you will wipe away your retirement portfolio.
Yes.
Just to save
Their life.
their lives. So we put together an emergency portfolio, so to ring fence your retirement. So we will start with the retirement, and then you go to emergency.
Yes. Great. I'm learning. The other question is on for organizations and businesses.
Yeah.
Again, when you look around, supermarkets collapsing, businesses, maybe it could be corporate governance and the decisions, the investment decisions they make. How can businesses go about making decisions that ensures their businesses last? So the decision-making process for everything that business is doing, from liquidity, where they invest, and all those things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is something one wise man told me, one of my clients, told me, Piers, if you follow the bee, you find the what?
Honey.
The honey.
Yeah.
You get it? In companies, if you follow the cash, you'll find the best companies. You get it? Without any doubt, the companies that survive have one characteristics.
Yeah.
They have a healthy dose of cash. And the companies that don't survive, they are starved of cash.
Yes.
That is the separator of everything. Even a family.
Yes.
The family that survives is the one that has a steady stream of cash or a pot of cash somewhere.
Yeah.
The one that collapses is the one that was living hand to mouth. Now, there's a lot of businesses that are also living hand to mouth. They cannot pay their salaries if they don't get the clients paying them. That is dangerous. You get it? And they need to quickly. So this is what I advise for businesses. Focus on this. Make sure you build cash. Build a cash-rich business. Yeah? When you build a cash-rich business, that business immunizes itself.
Okay.
You get?
Yes.
If you're building a business that is dependent on debt, then when debt is pulled out, you're done. If you're building a business that is dependent on a client, when that client pulls out, you're done. If you're building a business that is dependent on an individual, when that person pulls out of that business, the business is done. There's a reason why Safaricom is the richest company in East and Central Africa.
Yes.
Why? Because before you use your airtime, you pay them.
Yes.
So they have no waiting time.
It's upfront. Yeah.
Isn't it? So we pay them upfront. Number two, they've captured most of the market. Their product has captured most of the market. And that product is very cash rich. It's constantly, if you think about M-Pesa, today M-Pesa goes down. We are standstill.
Yeah.
If the Safaricom network is off, we are in a crisis.
Yes.
So the way to build a cash-rich business is to impose yourself on other people's budgets. That's a very profound thing I'm just saying.
Yes. Need to impose yourself.
If you look at your landlord, they have imposed themselves in your budget.
Yes.
So every day you go to work, you work for them. Every day you come to work, we work for Safaricom without even knowing.
Yes.
We work for KPLC. We work for all the people who have imposed themselves. So that's a cash rich. That's how you build a cash rich business. Yeah.
It's profound. And in terms of decisions, I've had around the streets where people talk about dining room decisions for a business, whereby the decision making for that particular business is not as sound. It could be a family-owned businesses, and that translates into affecting the stability of that business. What would you advise on that front?
You see, almost every business starts at family level. Every business might be started by an individual, and that individual belongs to a family.
Yeah.
The key thing is to separate yourself from the business. There must be a distinction. If you are running a business where you show up today and you say, give me 2 million, put them in my account. There is no separation of business and you.
Yes.
That business has only one direction, it will collapse. But if you separate your business, the business pays you for the time that you spend in it, and the business pays the other suppliers, and there is business is a person and you are a person, and you respect each other, then you'll be fine. So even that business will grow, and then if that business also is sellable, it is able to attract more investors, and when it attracts more investors, it's able to expand its resource base, and it's able to expand its markets. So for me, I'd say first and foremost, separate yourself from your business. Your business is not you, and you are not the business.
Excellent. Thank you, Beth. That was quite informative. I think maybe you can tell people how to get started if they're looking to work with NABO or invest with NABO.
Thank you. So I want to urge anyone who feels that today's conversation was really personal to them. You can come to International House. We're on 5th floor. We have a team of investment professionals and also a team of relationship managers. You'll be assigned to a relationship manager, and the relationship manager will sit down with you and will understand what is your biggest concern as an individual and as a family or as a business. And we will also help you to come up with an aspiration. What is the one thing or two things as a family, if you did today or you start implementing today, will fundamentally change your future and the future of your generations. That thing will be set as a financial goal, and then they will take that and they will go to our investment team, and the investment team will put together, using all the ammunitions of all the products that we have, a portfolio of products that will best suit you and your family, and that's what we call an investment plan. And they'll tell you how to and then your relationship manager will come to you with the investment plan. You will discuss it. If you want it to be changed because you have more information than ourselves, it will be you'll go through an iteration process until you say you're happy, and then now we'll get to the part where we start implementing. We'll open an investment account for you. You'll be given a bank account where you'll be putting money. We'll give you a receipt for every deposit that you make, and then every end of month we'll send you a statement to tell you are here at the beginning of the month, and now your wealth has grown to this point. And that will continue, and depending on how long your investment plan shows you, and that requires a partnership between ourselves and you. So we will be generating a return on your behalf, and you will be making contributions, and together we'll build up to a sizable portfolio that can take care of your retirement, if that's your goal, or your emergency, if that's your goal, or you want to build a house, or you want to take kids to school and you don't want to be paying out of your business, or out of your salary. That's the worst thing that you can ever expose to your family, that you depend on your salary or your business to pay for school fees. It's a very, very big risk to every family. So I'd say, if you don't have an investment account, please start now. Thank you. So that is it from me, and I want to thank you for listening to me, and I hope to hear your feedback, your comments. I'll look forward to read all of them, and if there's anything, we'll leave our contacts behind, and you can be able to reach us. Thank you so much. God bless.
Introducing the Institution of Surveyors of Kenya live stream and live chat. Do you have a question from any of the following areas? Land survey, valuation, building survey, land administration, engineering survey, estate agency, property management, and geospatial information management. Join the Institution of Surveyors of Kenya live stream and live chat every Friday from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m.